All right. Thank you, E. Appreciate you. Hey, Jeff. Jeff Schultz, everybody. If you don't know him, you absolutely should not know him. No, kidding. You should know him. All right. One last panel. And I am extremely, extremely excited to welcome our moderator to the stage, Dr. Alyza Brevard? Beast Rodriguez. All right, let's go.
Dr. Beast. That's always the easy one. How you guys doing?
All right, I guess it's just you, unless the other panelists want to come out. Other panelists?
Come on out, ladies.
All right, we got more panelists. Yes, let's go. Round of applause. Let's get the energy going.
All right,
Last
if everybody's tired, let's go. We need the energy. It's the last one of the day. Thank you. Of course. The ladies and Howard.
Howard's Angels.
Howard. All right, Howard's Angels. I like that. How's everybody feeling today? All right. I don't see enough energy in here, so what I want everybody to do really quickly before we kick it off, because I think we're a little tired too, I want everybody to stand up, all right? It's a little stretch. If I could stand, y'all can stand, okay? Thank you. There we go. Everybody shake it out. All right. Let's get it going. Ladies, how y'all feeling? Yeah. Howard, you good?
I'm great.
Okay, I'm going to let us go one by one quickly and just say who you are and what your company is so that everybody can get acquainted.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Brown. I'm the co-founder of Coast Cannabis. We are the first independent manufacturer startup in Massachusetts 6 years ago. And since then, we've launched into 4 additional markets, including the great state of New Jersey.
Woo!
My name is Faye Coleman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Pure Genesis. It's been an interesting journey, and I can say we have had an opportunity to acquire a license in New Jersey as well as joint venture in New York and Florida. We've also grown hemp in 3 states now. We have a small farm in Senegal, and we're doing an industrial hemp partnership in Mozambique. We just launched our beverage in partnership with Whoopi Goldberg called Genesis. We call it the Future of Happy Hour. We do education and business consulting, and we give back where we can. So it's great to be here today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm Miller, co-founder and CEO of Miss Grass. We're a little bit over an 8-year brand, started out as an online media platform, really scaling a nationwide community before we launched our own product in the California market and have since expanded into 8 states. I'm a Jersey girl, so bringing it to New Jersey has been a very exciting part of the journey.
So hi, I'm McCarthy. I'm the founder and the CEO of Minorities for Medical Marijuana, which this year is our 10-year anniversary. So my 10 years feels like, 7 times 10, that's dog years. So 10 years in the industry, started with the nonprofit. And then 4 years ago, I started my brand, which is called Black Buddha Cannabis. Black Buddha is in 5 states right now. It's a brand that's really hyper-focused on wellness and feeling better, and really in redirecting consumers to the fact that this plant is our medicine. So happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm Howard Lee. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SōRSE Technology, and we make water-soluble emulsions. So we take the cannabis distillate and we make it appear like water. And I don't think it's 7 years. I think it's 14 years.
Is that what it is? Listen.
I've been around for 10 years.
It's a slog, man.
All right, well, we are just going to get right into it, and I want to set the tone because I feel like some folks are kind of delusional to our market realities right now. And anyone who knows me, I always keep it real, so that might be why they save the best for last. So as our market shifts, right, New Jersey's kind of moved from land grab energy to survival mode for many operators. How has that shift changed the way that you think about growth, from expanding your footprint to strengthening product? Who wants to take that one?
I'll jump in. I feel even today, like speaking to so many folks, I feel the energy of this year has been like going deeper, not wider, and like doing less, not more, and killing off the dead leaves of the tree and really focusing on what's working. That's definitely been our MO this year of, yeah, just doubling down on what's working, not flailing and chasing after shiny objects, which unfortunately in this industry, there's less and less of those shiny objects, but probably good because I think just like doubling down on what works is definitely what we're focusing on. More specifically, I would say, you know, just like investing in our priority markets. We're in 8 markets. We do not treat all of our children the same, and frankly, we will not. So, you know, the top 3 we're like doubling down on this year and going deeper and not spreading ourselves too thin.
Faye?
I'll add to that. You know, as you look, you talked about partnerships, and you know, within the space of having your own brand, partnerships are ever critical. And what I mean by that, sometimes your competitor can be your partner. You know, give that some thought. You know, so you don't have to sit up there and stand alone and fight that battle, because sometimes they may be wanting to partner with you. Sometimes your retailer's your partner. Sometimes your vendor's your partner. Your ancillaries can be your partner. Your insurance carrier can be your partner. So all those partnerships do exist. It's just making sure you've got credible ones, not bad actors at the same time. You know, we've certainly gone down the road and hit the rabbit trail. On many times we had to come back up for air and say, you know, and switch gears. And part of that is in your ability to pivot in this space. And I think a lot of times, you know, we've started this industry. We started, my partner is in the audience here. We started, you know, applying for a cannabis license. And while we were waiting for that to move forward, we pivoted to a beverage. While we were waiting and we began to generate revenue, we pivoted to industrial hemp. So the pivot is part of the big piece that's going to save you as you move yourself down the road. You just have to have an eye for it, an ear for it, and make certain you're managing the risk around it.
I can jump in, and one thing you said, survival. That's really where we feel the partnership growth is kind of how you survive, because the federal legalization doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon. So the idea of shipping across state lines is a dream we all have, but not a reality. So for us, if we wanted to grow beyond Massachusetts and get our products into the hands of, you know, the thousands of people in the other markets, the most cost-effective, most survival way was to utilize partnerships. So I really think for us, and what Kate said, we've over the years done other things like our own extraction, vapes, concentrates, but our passion was really edibles. So we had to cut the noise and we had to focus on what we were best at. And again, go deeper, not wider, is really the name of the game right now in cannabis.
And in making those partnerships, there's a lot of vetting that probably needs to happen, right? Because I'm sure there's many people. Who's on their first partner? Raise your hand. Second? Third? Oh, I see some. Okay. Well, the partnerships is something that's challenging in the space, and I want to know, what are some of the non-negotiables that you look for when you're choosing a partner, and what are red flags that operators should watch for? Howard, we spoke a little bit about, you felt like the third time is a charm, was a cycle that you saw repeated. Do you want to share a little bit about the philosophy there?
Sure. I think in any new market, or, you know, I still consider New Jersey a new market. The early entrants are all incredibly enthusiastic. They all think they have access to an enormous amount of capital. And so you kind of wash through this first wave of very enthusiastic partners, and you hope they survive, but many don't survive. So then you go through the second partner, and they have too much on their plate, so you're not a priority with that partner. And then you find your third partner, and then it kind of seems to work well because they've gone through the chaff, they've survived, and then you get their product to the market. And they can actually make a margin, and you can make a margin from that. So it's kind of third wave kind of partner.
Roz, what would you say about partnerships?
So, you know, being married before and divorced, right? And so, and many of you know what that looks like and feels like. Sometimes I think we use the word partnership and we use it a little bit too loosely. I think you need to really critically look at what a partnership is, and maybe before you even say that there's a partnership there, really get to know the individual that you're trying to do business with. And so I like to look at things like in regards to ranking associate. We are getting to know one another because you can very quickly understand if that really is truly going to be your partner. I will say that I did a dance before I entered into a partnership with my producer partner here in New Jersey, and we did that dance for about a good year before we actually entered into a partnership. And thus far, that partnership has been very great. It has been one of openness, it's been one of communication. It's just like a marriage, it's just like a relationship. It is a business side partnership, but you gotta treat it that way. You gotta treat it like this is someone that there is a win-win, and understand that sometimes that partner may have more gains and more wins. That doesn't mean that diminishes my relationship and my position with that partnership. What it means is that there's a reality in regards to how you work together, and it's not equal, and it's not going to always be 50-50. And if you understand that, and if you can receive that and understand your position and where you need to be, because my relationship and partnership in New Jersey helps me to develop other partnerships in other states. So maybe it ain't 50-50 in Jersey, but maybe the relationship creates an opportunity for me to uplift and to push my brand and my business to another level. And that is really, there's some value there. So I think it's, we just need to be real about the connectivity and what that, when you're going into business to work with someone, what that really means.
I'll just add to that, as you talk about, I think a lot of things you just said, Roz, are absolutely on point. The non-negotiables have to be discussed, and not only discussed, but upheld. Don't tell someone you're going to walk away from the business if this non-negotiable is hit and it's hit and you keep doing business, right? Then shame on you, because you're going to begin to see the erosion of that relationship is going to go from 100 to 0 faster than you can say what happened, right? Cost, product quality, safety, all those things, lead time, deliverables. How do you make certain that they understand and respect the agreement that is put in place? You put clauses in for when they break it. That's what you do. And a lot of times we're not doing that. We're so busy focused on getting the agreement in place, we're forgetting to say, well, if this doesn't happen, this is what will happen, right? So keep that in mind as you're putting these partnership agreements in place, because they're looking to grow too. And just like there could be a challenge where they may lose something, they could also win. We have a good agreement for the first 6 months. I'm going to agree to introduce you to ... to increase your business, boom, boom, boom. Win-win, right? There are 3 types of mindset: a surviving mindset, a thriving mindset, and a building and winning mindset. Get with the builders and the winners. Stop messing around. Don't have people waste your life.
So
Go ahead, Howard. Yeah. Clap it up for that one. I would drop my mic if I ain't need it. Yeah.
Faye made some really good comments, but let me also tell you a real true story for us, and just it's a warning sign. Some partners will come to you, and in fact, you know them in a prior business life. You met them. They think they're great partners. They actually may invest in your business, but whatever you do, have a good exit off ramp. We actually took an investment, a major investment from somebody, over $500,000 from who will remain nameless. And we actually were comfortable giving them an exclusive in a certain territory. And the next thing we know, we're stuck for 2 years with no action, nothing happening. And it just became a big anchor around us. And this is long ago now. And unfortunately, that company went bankrupt, and they raised, a tremendous sum of money. But the idea behind these partnerships is you just never know. What we never negotiated well in this contract was a really good exit off-ramp. Like, can I give them their money back? Can I do something to break the exclusivity? We probably lost several $1 million worth of revenue because we had this exclusivity in place, and it kind of locked us out of a certain area. So,
Thank you, Howard. Thank you for sharing that and for being so honest and candid. I love to have panels that we are being honest about the experience that we're having. This is not to deter anybody from being in this space, and it's an incredible space. That's why we're all here. But things need to be done smarter so that we could all get out of survival mode. And speaking of that, it takes a lot of strategy, right? So as we're exploring these strategic decisions, what functions do you believe operators should own at all costs? And what's smarter to outsource in today's environment?
I'd say for us, in all the markets we're in Massachusetts, we own everything, but in the states where we use partnerships, we own the market manager and the brand ambassador. So what we say is we really own the message of the brand. We do own the brand, and we love our partners, but in theory, we're just using their license in their kitchen. We love them, but that's it. And that's where, when we talk about the contracts, it's making sure the contracts state exactly what you need them to do and exactly what you're going to do. But for us, we feel we are a brand. All of our formulations are the same in every market. We think about that idea of a customer. When you go and get a Snickers bar in Boston, or you go and get a Snickers in LA, it's going to taste the same, right? So we need our cannabis products to do that as well. So having that tight, but really owning the brand so the message is clear on who we are, and then outsourcing to the partner the actual creation under our tutelage, of course, and SOPs, but outsourcing that to them.
Yeah, I would say we take such a similar approach in terms of what we feel like we're experts at, which is like the brand, the marketing, putting boots on the ground and really developing the relationships and activating that brand, and what we don't feel we're an expertise at, which is like the production, distribution, logistics. We look for partners in our markets. And I would say, though, that as markets mature, the structure of that and what we own and what we outsource evolves a bit. Like even in New Jersey, we are in a partnership with Ascend from early days. We got in New Jersey in October, I think, of 2022, which I think Jersey flipped rec April, so a couple months after it flipped. And it has been an amazing relationship and partnership. They're partners for us in a number of different states. And it has been also incredible because the working capital is very light to no working capital on our end. So as an independent brand, we can partner with experts on production, cultivation, and distribution, and bring our brand to market early days, and the distribution was great. As the market now matures too, we have the flexibility to structure additional partnerships in this market and go deeper in working capital, or go deeper in us owning things. Like we now have a partnership with Garden Greens, who is fueling all of our flower products in the market, and the structure looks a little bit different, where we're taking on more ownership and risk for a higher margin and reward. And first of all, that partnership would have never been, we would have never had the cash to do that if it wasn't for the Ascend partnership to begin with. But I'm just, as these markets mature, what I find is brands really need to start investing in the markets and investing behind their brand for their brand to actually sell. And in order to do that, we've found that we do need a little bit more margin, and we're able to take more working capital risks or structure things differently and take more ownership for that.
Thank you for that, Kate. And you went right into my next question, which is about capital efficiency. There are a lot of new folks that are entering the market. Outsourcing can, of course, lower the barrier to entry, which has always been, a popularized point. But where does it actually save money? Right? I want to be real here. This is a margins game in this space. Where do the hidden costs show up later?
So
Did I stress everybody out? Everyone's like, fuck.
I'll take that first question. So it depends where you want to outsource. So if you're a new business, I would tell you, don't be afraid of old line large businesses that have enormous resources, right? So we talk about food safety, or we talk about there's so many packaged goods co-packers who've done that. Go to them. They're in every market. If you're in New Jersey, there's plenty in New Jersey. But the idea is leverage these old line companies that have massive R&D teams and quality teams to learn from them as you outsource things, right? And so like package companies or other things. In the licensed person that you just want the kitchen or not, that's a little bit different story, but you want to get someone that's more mature. But if you really want the right number of what the capital ratio is, if you're a new business, just divide your revenue by the number of employees. So at some point, it's going to make sense to invest in people to do that job, but you won't know it until you have revenue per employee. I just spoke to someone who owns a company, and he's an employee of one, but his ratio is great. You know, it's $1 million to one employee. And he's trying to hire more people. So as you hire more people, you'll know if you have more margin or not. And it's unfortunate that we're in a capital restrained place that you can't hire a lot of people. Like 10 years ago, capital was easy. You could hire a bunch of people. But now you really have to manage this kind of, can I outsource it? Can I do that? And then, or before I get more capital, right? So it's employee per, revenue per employee is kind of a ratio that you need to think about.
I would say if you're going to look to outsource, look to the organizations that you're involved in terms of your network to make certain you're securing the right partners in that outsourcing. Because a lot of times, we're leaning on each other to give those recommendations because let's face it, we're a small industry as a whole. So we're counting on each other to give credible information in terms of who's available where, most cost effective, and all the things. So, outsourcing can be tricky because you spoken a little earlier in terms of your experience, but what you own is your competitive advantage, right? But is your competitive advantage cost effective? Is it the value add that you need most often in your business? So I would say the first question you need to ask is to do an inventory on your business first, to understand where you need to outsource, what you need to own, and what you need to partner on. I think a lot of times we say, go, this is the nugget we're going after to make do, but we haven't really assessed our business well enough to understand most effectively how to go about those elements to avoid what everybody's looking to avoid, which is the risk of your margins disappearing, right? Eroding. And have we done the right financial models exercises? Have we outsourced the CPA to make certain that we're going to make the margin on the year? Or if we grow too fast, do we have the capital budget to keep pace growing too fast? Or if we didn't grow fast enough, can our budget manage the fluctuation of our business model that we have in place in terms of the reality that hits us? And so that's why co-packing, outsourcing is so critical.
One thing to add that can be a lesson learned too is that, for us over 6 years, we've become more efficient, right? In Massachusetts, where we've owned it, we've figured out ways that we can cut costs a little bit while keeping our integrity and our quality, ways that we can utilize some machinery to help us get there. But one thing you learn with your partners, and depending on where they're at in their lifehood, is how efficient are they? So depending if you're in a royalty model, which is a little more cut and dry, because you're getting a cut of what it's wholesaling for, or if you're in a cost plus model, that's where things can really change, because if they're not as efficient as they can be, that's going to cost you more to produce in that state, because it's not that they're overcharging you, but it's just truly costing them more to operate. They're new, they're learning, they maybe don't have all the technology in place yet. So that's definitely something when we go back and kind of do the whole contract, know who you're getting involved in, that's something that, it's not to say someone who's starting out day one is not going to be the best partner for you, but making sure that they're open to learning from you. Like, let me save you some of the headaches that I learned the hard way, because together we can make more money if you have better margins out of the gate than having to learn the things that I had to learn over 6 years.
Those are incredible insights, and a lot of other ways that people are sort of staying alive is innovation, right? Finding new innovative products. And I think everyone says they're innovating, but what actually counts as meaningful innovation in cannabis right now? Like, I mean, Howard, you could totally jump on, and this is it. Formulation, experience, delivery. What is the thing that is the thing?
So I'll tell you a true story. sometimes when you create a new product, you just don't know. You're going to take a shot in the dark, right? And in Washington State, beverages were a big deal almost 10 years ago now. And there's a bunch of competitors in the space, and we had this kind of secret formula for the emulsion, and we didn't know how to test it. And I go to this ale house every week if I can. It's kind of my hangout. And my wife was with me, and she ordered a cider drink. And I suddenly thought, God, she drinks cider all the time. Like she comes to the same bar, she orders the same thing all the time. And I looked around, and cider was everywhere. And so our first drink was called Happy Apple. I don't know if anyone's had that drink. It's now, I think, in New Jersey in a different form. We don't own the company, but we actually sold it off to some of our employees. And it became a hit after 90 days because the flavor profile worked, right? But the whole risk behind it was, what are you going to use this emulsion for? You just have to take a gut guess. But the interesting thing, and this is part of the innovation story, no one's going to teach you this, but if you don't listen to your team, you're idiots. And so a year goes by, this emulsion sells well, Happy Apple's selling well, and I think we're just going to stick to this. Now remember, we're 1/10 of 1% of the market, right? At that point, Washington State was doing $500 million in revenue, and maybe we were selling 1.5 million wholesale, so I was feeling pretty good about it, right? And so everyone on my team says, we need to come up with a higher milligram drink. And how many people have heard of Major in this market? So our claim to fame was that was the first 100 milligram drink in the market. So we created this Major product, and that was because the team kept beating me over the head that we need to create this beverage. And people were thinking of line extension or things. And the innovation came when I finally broke down and said, well, you know what? I'm not the market, right? I do partake, but I'm not the core market here. And Major outsold Happy Apple 10-1 within 6 months. And it's because our delivery guys and other people were saying, everyone loves Happy Apple, but they would like something with more punch, right? And of course, I'm thinking we need to be very narrow. I'm, very on brand on this stuff. And again, we're talking about pivots, right? And suddenly this Major product came out, and it became a really great product. And again, innovation comes from all sorts of things, but the first thing is you got to listen to your gut. I just said that, and at the same time I told you, you got to listen to your team. And so you got to get this information from all sorts of places. And the real unfortunate part is you as the brand manager or you as a CEO have to make that call, right? You're going to risk that money. I think we didn't invest all that much, but it was $100,000 or so, which is a lot back then. To come up with a new product. But again, just the first thing is you got to listen to your team, and you got to listen to your gut. So if you have no data, you got to listen to your gut, and if you have a lot of data, which is people, you got to listen to them.
I will say this. I'm actually going through an innovation project right now, and it's really been eye-opening. In the audience, how many of you guys have integrated AI in some type of fashion or form into your business? Raise your hand. So maybe a third. Well, I think if we don't get and figure out how AI can propel and help our business grow, we're going to be behind the 8 ball. And as a Gen Xer, I'm seeing these young people and how they're integrating. Of course, we see the memes and the dancing and all the different, caricatures or what have you. But where innovation has come into play for Black Buddha is because we needed something that was going to save us time. So we apply and we tap into data like Pistol, like Lit Alert. That data is supposed to be there to give you an understanding about your market and also about the predictability and the sales velocity of your product. Also about, the opportunity, who's buying, who's not. Basically you're supposed to use that data to help you make more informed, better business, intelligent type of decisions. Well, when I got reports, I was getting reports, but the data wasn't synthesized. I wasn't able to easily tap it and look at it and be able to make a decision. Where do I deploy a brand ambassador? Where do I spend my time or what have you? And so I was able to tap into a good friend of mine who has transitioned from working with a major Fortune 100 company on the AI side. And so we were able to tap into this individual who's an AI engineer and then literally say, listen, I need something that's going to help me to make real-time decisions about where I'm spending my time. Because when you are cash when you're cash deficient and you don't have unlimited resources, you have to make smart decisions about where you're spending your time. Promotional items, brand ambassador time. It's nothing worse than going and doing a promo or doing like let's say if we're doing a spark plug for a dispensary and it's going to be for the bud tenders, and come to find out they're not even pushing it. They don't even have all your SKUs, and they don't even have all your products, and you just spent X amount of dollars to basically reward individuals that really weren't, that particular retailer wasn't pushing the velocity of your product at the level that you want to see it in. So I say all that to say that, and shout out to Sean, he's here in the audience. He's first time Cannabis conference, so predictive pace. They've created a dashboard for us that in real time allows me to be able to open up. Not only do I see New Jersey marketplace in totality, I can literally tell you the top 10 retailers, how they spend their money on a monthly basis, how much they spend on each product category. So I know if I have flour and I have pre-rolls, I know who my competitor is. I know the price comparison. Sean just says, Roz, give me the data. Give me good data. You tell me what you want to know, and I'll create the dashboard so that you can be able to open in real time and see exactly what's going on. And so we've been able to have this on the forefront, be able to integrate this in our weekly sales meeting. And so that is going to be, for me, it's going to be the dagger, I think, for me to perform and outperform what I did last year compared to this year. And it's really just being able to say, you know what, I'm not going to let this new technology, I'm not going to let this stuff just sit by the wayside. I'm jumping in, full steam ahead. I'm going to figure out how to make this applicable to my business.
Thank you, Roz. And you went right into data. And I personally think that enough people don't think deeply about their portfolio strategy. I do half of my things on intuition, and I do the other half on the data. So how do you decide what products are your margin drivers versus your brand builders?
We're very similar. So AI has been huge for us. As I was sharing with Faye, it's a company initiative for us for 26, getting everyone from production to our brand ambassadors to utilize it. But for us, it's taking all of that information, and I do think that that is a key. If you are going to grow into multiple marketplaces and you are going to utilize partnerships, you have to understand the data for each one of those states, and you have to get tools that are going to bring it to you. It's impossible off the top of your head to know everything in 5 markets, 8 markets, et cetera. So for us, it's really utilizing that data. It's utilizing going back to listening to the customers. And for us being edibles focused, it's sleep. We continue to put out more sleep SKUs. We increase the dosage of minors like CBN, CBC, and it's really hearing from the customers of what's working for them and what's not. And then honestly, if the customers are saying it and then you pull the data, chances are they're going to match up. And that's really, we put the puck and we shoot, and that's where we go.
Okay.
I would probably just add to that is, now I'm going to be counter. AI is great as a tool. Be careful it does not lead the innovation of your business, okay? There's a lot of data out there, and Roz is absolutely right. You can make better decisions. You can be more cost effective. You don't waste the time, and you get the answers that you need, but do not let it create a path for your business that you should not be going down. And what I mean by that is choose better team. Choose better team. It's great to have people that you get along with, but are they collaborative and effective in making certain you're driving the goals of your business? And what does that look like? Is everyone educated on the industry accordingly, on your product accordingly, on your market consistently? Are you all aligned? Does your team poke holes in your strategy consistently? If they do not, you have the wrong team. There's nothing like having everybody go, okay. That's when you know you're already dead. It's just a matter of time. You are sleepwalking in your own business. So make certain that these tools that we have, like AI, we have training every 2 weeks in our company on AI. Every 2 weeks. My team hates it. Full disclosure. They hate it, but we have to do it. AI is here, it is real, it is cost effective, it does help drive your business to better decision making, but it cannot be the innovation of our business. I am bringing you in to help me understand that. And if you do that effectively, conscientiously, then your business is going to thrive. Otherwise, go back and reassess. Ask those questions.
Kate, you want to add?
Yeah, I would just say, like, going back to your question on product portfolio, our products have different margins based on different structures of supply chain, and we have our mini packs, which is probably, especially in New Jersey, but overall I would say across the nation, what we're most known for, and that is our like hero brand building high velocity SKU. We also now have structured some deals where, again, using more working capital, we brought a hash-infused pre-roll to market, partnering with Lily Extracts. We're going outsourcing biomass, paying them a labor fee, but our margins, we have to use working capital, but our margins in that SKU are a lot higher. And as the bulk market has opened up massively in New Jersey over the past 6 to 8 months, and there's still more to go. I'm sorry, some cultivators who are sending me menus, I'm like, no way in hell I am paying you that. But access is coming online and the price of flower is going down, where those co-man deals start to make a lot of sense if you have the working capital. AR is a whole nother issue, so you got to pay attention to that. But where you can, extract a good amount of margin, putting up working capital, paying for biomass, so we have that. And that's more of the connoisseur, hash-infused, really premium infusion type. Then we also play with some products like our smalls, for instance. They're a bag of smalls, Mylar, cheap packaging. I mean, it's still beautiful packaging, don't get me wrong, but inexpensive, I should say, not cheap. Inexpensive packaging, and that's the value play in our portfolio. So not every product is like all under the like Miss Grass premium accessible brand. We have a product for specific things.
And since working capital is such a big issue, and I just want folks to know, I met with the investor who was doing some financial models for us, and we were like, we first came into the market where we were using working capital to do contract manufacturing and couldn't keep up with the demand, okay? Because the thing about in the brand business, your money doesn't come to you like every time your product gets sold. Sometimes and so if you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, you can have a deficit in the marketplace because you have this demand, but you're not producing the products because they're waiting for you to put in your cogs into your whatever you say that you're going to commit to, and they're waiting. And I'll be honest with you, they were waiting on me. I lost a lot of money, I lost a lot of credibility, I lost a lot of opportunity because I went down that rabbit hole. And so I was working with an investor, and he was looking at my financials or whatever. He said, Raj, you know what? There is nothing wrong with doing deals where you are doing a revenue share. And he goes, it depends on the volume of retailers, how many retailer has your product. Sometimes it might be better to start out where you don't have to worry about that side of the business and only worry about this side of the business. And literally, it's a licensing deal that lots of people that do royalty agreements, that's the basis of their business, right? And so your desire is, you're not looking at the margin per se, you're just pushing for the revenue. So you're pushing to be able to go from maybe selling 500 units this month to selling, 650 units the next month. So I just want folks to know that if you're looking at doing a play that is on the brand side, and if you don't have the working capital, but you have a partner that wants to do, they'll contribute, they'll do all the heavy load, there's nothing wrong with doing a revenue share and being able to create a traction in the marketplace, and then you go into another market. And before you know it, if you want to do a wholesale deal, a contract manufacturing deal, a working capital deal, or what have you, you do have these other markets where you have strong traction that you can continue to build your brand and then go from there. And it's just, don't feel like it has to be one versus the other. There could be a hybrid.
Thank you, ladies, for being so candid. And we're about to close, so I just want to ask
Can I add one more thing?
Go ahead.
As we're talking about capital, I would be remiss if I didn't say, it's interesting up here. You see our panel, right? It's primarily women here. We all know we only get 2% of the capital. outlay that's out there, right? Even though we got 3.3 trillion in revenue, right? As women-owned businesses that are out there. It's interesting because it directs our ability to move in this space and what we do and don't do. So if you've got 3.3 trillion teed up in terms of revenue that you're bringing in, 14 million businesses, 10% better earners than businesses owned by men, we might be worth the risk, right? We might be worth the risk. So my question is, who here is raising capital? Can you raise your hand? Who here is raising capital? Who here has access to capital?
Stand up.
Access to capital. Seriously, who has access to capital? I see you there, I see you over here. Who else has access to capital?
Stand up.
Anybody else in the back? Oh, there we go, right there. Guys, pay attention, because the one thing I didn't see, put your head on a swivel. If somebody asks you a question who has access to capital and you raising it, and your head don't go like this, you ain't raising money, you playing money. Pay attention when somebody calls it out. It's serious business here. Capital access is critical and is fleeting. Pay attention and go after it. Thank you.
Listen, I don't think I have anything to add. We need to clap for that one. And for anyone who doesn't know, the podcast that you saw out there, a lot of people know me from my podcast, Coffee and Cannabis, but I did start a new one that is supported by Ascend. Rod Digga was in the building, another woman who is in the market now. It's called Flowers and Tea. Its intention was to bring women to the forefront so you can see those that are pushing policy, pushing politics, and really making sure that we can professionalize this space, that there's a whole new market for all you men to, listen to our ideas and support you with a different market share. So I don't think this is a male-woman thing, but I do think that at the end of the day, try something different. You might find going to the other side, no pun intended, that you will win with women. That's all. Thank you.
All right, as they take that lovely picture, 2 more minutes. I just want to quickly introduce Patrick Lane, CEO of Ignite It, and Jason Raznick, chairman of Ignite It, who put this all together. Please give them a round of applause, because these conversations wouldn't happen without them.
Very kind of you, Shabazz. Very kind of you. Let's give it up for Shabazz, emceeing all day. Woo! What a job you did, man. What a job.
Hey, we do these events so you guys can make money and grow your company. We named the company Ignite It so we can help ignite the growth to your company. If it's an idea, if it's execution, we're here to connect you guys. If you didn't meet the person you want to meet, let us know, because Patrick said in the morning today that he'll connect you to anyone you want, and that is what we do. We have many more events coming up, and the next one will have a lot more meetings that we'll guarantee, but we just want to say, we're here for you. Check out our new website, ignitit.com. Sign up for the newsletter, and send us an email at events@ignitit.com. If there's anything that'll help make you guys money that we should do, or you guys need to find a way to get to some client, think of us as like a outsourced business development partner, maybe.
Yeah, clap your hands if you thought this event was valuable today. Right? So listen, we want it to be valuable to you. We want it to be more valuable to you, right? So Chicago will be 4 times this size, right? And it'll all be executives, investors, people with decision-making authority. We're launching something new in Chicago.
Yes.
This is our retail deal-making room. What's it called?
Acquired or be acquired.
Boom.
Acquire or be acquired. That's so if you are looking to buy, sell, partner, to be in this room, you have to have a VIP ticket or an exhibitor. So, and our VIP tickets, we're limiting them. So it's we're not trying to sell people. We're trying to have the right people in the room so you guys can make deals. Because the rest of it's bullshit. We're here to help you guys make deals. And if we don't do that, then we're not living up to our promise.
We're going to put that on a t-shirt too. The rest of it is bullshit.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
we love you all. We hope you had a great time here with us. Ignitit.com. Please check it out. And give us your feedback.
And see Javier here if you want to give us a testimonial on video. We're trying to get 100 testimonials. girls, we're at like 46. Need another 40, and you'll be in our highlight reel. Javier, the good-looking guy in the first row with the
Very
red
good
shoes.
looking.
You can't miss his red shoes. He almost looks like Santa Claus. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Get home safe, all of you.
And real quick, shout out to the AV team who's been holding it down all day long. Thank you, team. Appreciate you. And our team on the content. Appreciate you all. I love you.